Have you ever faced ethical dilemmas where you did not know what decision to take and you were in a fix and you did not have one clear cut good choice?
Yeah, I have. Uh, when I was in IBA, Karachi,
As the executive director?
as the executive director, I had a situation where one of the board members, who was very influential, who was very close to the president of Pakistan, was almost trying to get me out because I was not following his views and his instructions. And
A faculty member?
no, board member,
Board member?
board member. And I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice whether I yield to this pressure or I convey uh, to the governor, who was a chancellor,
Yeah.
as to what the situation I am in, and let the governor decide. Because again, I was never went for the job like the governor State Bank. The governor and the board approached me to become the executive director. I said I have no academic background, but they said no, no, you have passion for higher education, because I was member of Syed Babar Ali and Shams Laka's steering committee for higher education, which formed the HEC. So they knew that I have a passion for higher education. They said, no, we are approaching you because of your interest. And I told him, if MQM, which was in ascendancy at that time, or your office interferes, I'm walking out. So this was my situation, that I was facing this board member who was after my blood, who was not allowing me to do things, whether I resign or I take it up with the governor. And I must give credit to the governor. That governor took my side and he conveyed to the president that this is what he's trying to do. He has mobilized 5 billion rupees from all the private sector, and he's constructing 24 new buildings. He's bringing in PhD faculty members. The whole thing will be disrupted if you let him go. And the governor came to my, I was about to resign. I said, I'm not going to bear this nonsense where I'm not allowed to do things. Every decision I used to take, he would raise it in the board, you know. So for me, this was a very difficult situation.
Is there one thing which, as a senior leader, you regret that you should have done differently, or you made a mistake and you would like the future generations to learn from your mistake?
I think I must have made a lot of mistakes. I don't pretend that, I'm a perfect human being. But what I was, I think, in a mood of despondency, or what I would call uh, laid back, was when I prepared the report for the National Commission for Government Reforms after 2 years, consultation all over the country with a lot of people. And then the government had changed. Musharraf had left, and I was appointed by him as the chairman of the National Commission. And I said, this government, which is Zardari and Yusuf Raza Gilani, they said, this is not our report, this is your report. And I withdrew. I think that was a wrong thing for me. That was my mistake. I should have persisted. I should have mobilized all other.
The way you have fought earlier.
Fought earlier. I should have done that to carry this report further. Otherwise, this report, went into cold storage. So that's a big mistake I made.
Came back for the same agenda later also.
With Imran Khan. Yeah. Imran Khan again called me in Washington. I was in Washington. Dr. Saab, I have read your book, Governing the Ungovernable, and I want to do things which you have proposed. So please come and join. So I joined him. He was very sincere, but he had a coalition government
Mm.
who were blackmailing him all the time. Even for the budget, they were blackmailing him. For election of the senators, they were blackmailing him. And then there were his principal secretary who wanted to control everything. And therefore, my recommendations were not accepted at that time. And I had to resign. Now, that could be another mistake I made. Some people said that you prematurely resign. But later on, 6 months later, he himself had to resign because there was a vote of no confidence. If I had stayed, it would not have made a difference. But that's another place where I figured out that did I do the right thing by resigning in September 2021, or I should have stayed in and fought with the cabinet members in order to get the. So those are the two failures in my part, which I think were the mistakes I made, and on retrospect, I should have stayed back and fought for that.
Given that primarily this content would be utilized for our executive education program, also in our MBA program at LUMS and elsewhere, do you have a specific advice for current and future leaders in terms of what they should do and what they should not do?
I think if this is a commercial enterprise which they are heading, then they should not only be concerned with the short term returns on capital or investment. There should be a purpose for which they are actually working.
Bigger purpose.
Bigger purpose. If there is no bigger purpose, then you are a cog in the machine and you are just churning out the machine.
Like bigger than money making?
Bigger than money making. That is what important.
Such
as if you are, for example, heading a hospital, government hospital, for example, you make sure that people who are poor and who do not have the resources and coming from far off areas, they are treating equally as compared to the VIPs whom you go and visit, bringing them in and give them preferences. That's the purpose. The purpose is that if you are in a water and sewerage board, you just do not send the tankers to the houses of the ministers and the secretaries while you ignore all the people who are looking for drinking water, and that creates all kind of health hazards. So education, if you are head of an educational institution, you make sure that people from the Kachi Abadis also are given the opportunity. That is the purpose. In this kind of circumstance where there are so much of disparities, regional, income, and gender, if you don't have a purpose, then you are actually wasting your time.
Like you mentioned this tangentially, but I would like to elaborate it. You see, at different stages of one's career, you want to do something, but people around you, people who care for you, people that you care for, have a very different perspective,
Yeah.
and they also have very strong views.
Right.
So, how do you navigate through that tension?
No, I mean, you have to pay a price. My auntie and my uncle stopped talking to us after that incident for a long time. And the situation was very tense. And for example, my wife is very supportive of me, and she gets a lot of recommendations from her friends and other. Okay, this is what you ask Ishrat to do, and she says, I cannot ask him because he won't do it. Now that also has something
that helped you.
that
She was your anchor in that.
no, but that also she says
She's taking the pressure on your behalf.
no, she says everybody does it. So why do you refuse that?
Okay.
That is what the pressure is.
So even from that side.
That side.
So he was the anomaly.
That was an anomaly.
Yeah.
But you do pay a price.
You do pay a price.
The price
There's
is
nothing.
personal.
There is nothing come free. I can tell you that. But I tell the youngsters you were asking this that I have now retired 20 years ago, but I go everywhere in Pakistan, from Dera Ismail Khan all the way to Gwadar. The amount of respect I get today
MashaAllah.
is unbelievable. And that is the greatest asset I have. I have no other asset. This is the greatest asset. In Pakistan, as soon as you are out of the job, out of the position,
Yeah.
people refuse to even acknowledge you.
Mm.
In this month of January, I have 10 speaking engagements all over the country, including Zoom with the Washington, D.C. This is a pattern. 60 to 70 invitations I get from Pakistan and outside Pakistan. And that to me is because I have maintained the posture that I must learn every day. I must equip myself every day.